Greetings, I'm Tieesha, back with a video that I did not plan on doing as of like a couple hours ago. However, recently we lost one of our greats, Mr. Sidney Poitier, and I am kicking myself because I did a vlog or a video about when I went to Covington, Georgia to visit the filming locations of the series In the Heat of the Night. And I made it a point, it was actually a year ago when I went there. Like, wow, time has really flown. And speaking of it being a year ago, happy 2020 to y'all. I hope that this year is off to a great start for you. It feels so good to be back, creating content in a good space. So yeah, I guess this was meant for me to watch this year. And I watched a video that came up on YouTube on the channel that I'm subscribed to called Double Toasted. That is oh my gosh, when I need like something to laugh at and to also find a creative vibe, that podcast or that channel really helps me out. Shout out to Kid Gravity. I forgot to post a link. If anyone wants to come on and talk with me, you have any input on in the heat of the night, and also some other things that I will talk about tonight, you are welcome to join me. I will see you when you enter in the green room. And as I was getting ready to do this video, because I actually have a meeting coming up in a little bit, I planned on wearing this shirt that I picked up in Covington, Georgia, at this shop called Hollywood of the South Tours. It's actually a T-shirt with autographs from the cast, the TV series In the Heat of the Night. I'm familiar with that. I watched it with my grandmother, my mother, still watch it to this day. And I picked this up and I wanted to wear it for this video. When I thought about doing this video, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put on this shirt. But I saw a news article. Well, someone called me and put me on to, and they said, "Hey, are you watching the news?" I'm like, "No," but I went ahead and I changed the channel, and I did a little bit of research on this story that's going on in my area, and I thought twice about putting on this shirt. Has nothing to do with, per se In the Heat of the Night, the cast and thing like that, but the topic, what Mr. Portier brought to the screen when he took on this role. And with me having a background in law enforcement, that just I loved what Howard Rollins, who later on played Virgil Tibbs in the series, brought to the big screen. And a lot of us were, molded because of that. So right here I have Kid Grab who is here. How are you doing?
How are you? How are you?
I am good, and I'm sorry if y'all got feedback. I have this little speaker on because like I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get up and get a speaker, so you're gonna hear a little bit of backup. But how are you doing? You're also in Georgia.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just putting up this video. But yeah, I had to. I like that clip you put up. That's one of my favorite clips of all time. And
Oh
then
my gosh, I just saw that today.
mm,
The laugh you heard, that was me. I was still
I
tickled.
know.
I'm like, oh my gosh, he slapped the shit out of him. I want to say it just
Yes,
like that. That
and
was
then
powerful.
yes, and the best part was Gillespie was like, he was like, "What are you gonna do about this?" He's like, "I don't know."
You know what? I'm when we get to that part,
Hmm.
as I'm going through the review and the summary, I may go ahead and just risk, YouTube flag me for a minute. I gotta show y'all that. If y'all haven't already or know what I'm talking about, head over to my Instagram page. I have it in my stories, and it's also on my Facebook stories as well. So before we get to that, I want to bring up something. And although this is a movies for entertainment, but I really like how pictures like this was art imitating life versus life imitating art. And real quick, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to play something. This is the news article that a friend had linked to me to bring up. So, in a nutshell, both of us, we're here in. I'm in Middle Georgia. You're up in Northern
Yeah, I'm up in
Georgia.
that what you call a hellhole, probably.
No.
You don't like Atlanta. You told me this.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't want to call it a hellhole. The hellhole's where I came from in Washington, but you
it's
know,
kind of a hellhole up here now, especially with what's going on up here. That the whole holiday season was, eh. I work in
OMG.
restaurants, so it was crazy up here.
OMG. And real quick, everybody here, I have to introduce you. This is Brother Kid, Gravity Beyond. I've been on his channel, and I'm sorry that it's just now taking me to extend the offer back out to you to come on over here and introduce yourself to people. So
Yes.
I'm gonna go this way off the screen and give it all to you so you can tell everybody who you are, what you're about, what all
All
that
right.
good stuff.
Well, as she said, my name is Kid Gravity. I host a channel on here on YouTube called Kid Gravity Beyond, where I have been for the past 10 years on this pro black journey. And sometimes I slip, but I've fortunately met enough black content creators and black spaces where I get back on the path very quick. But I do commentary on politics, sports, and issues in the black community. And sometimes they're positive. Most times I'm going to have a critique, but it's all in love. It's all in love. So all I ask is, if I have permission from Miss Tieesha, subscribe to the channel. You may find things that you can learn or something that pissed you off that I said, which is fine. I'm open to debates. I don't name call. And yeah, you know, let's have fun. But I want to get into this heat in the night deal, because when she put that clip up, it brought me back to my childhood.
All right. Like I said, our brothers here, I'm happy to have you. Shout out to Black Nerds. Black Nerds rock. So
Yes,
love
ma'am.
love your shirt and also your purge mask. We talked about the purge
Oh,
mask on your
yes.
last video that was with you. So we're here to talk about In the Heat of the Night, the movie. Summary came out in 1967. Oh no, I'll stop. Pull the jump into that real quick. Pull the jump into this article real quick. I'm going to share my screen. Hang on. And I have to make sure that y'all have sound. So,
Yes,
Kid Grab, I'm going to make us little over here.
that is fine.
Let's see. Where's my tab? There we go. It's a YouTube tab. Share audio is on. Let me go back, make sure y'all can see what I see. There we go. And here we are.
Today, the Houston County Sheriff's Office says they plan to fire a deputy after an offensive social media post. They say Paul Erhan was suspended with no pay and is facing termination. Tieesha Moore shares what community leaders and the sheriff's office have to say in our top story tonight.
Paul Erhan has been working here at the Houston County Sheriff's Office for 20 years, but after some offensive social media comments, he may be turning in his badge. In a now deleted Facebook comment under a Macon TV station's post about Ahmaud Arbery, it shows Erhan saying, quote, "That criminal Arbery still got the death penalty, though." That comment caught the attention of people on social media almost instantly. Dozens of people demanded disciplinary action against the deputy.
If these allegations are found to be true, I agree that he should be removed from office.
Jonathan Johnson, Houston County's NAACP chapter president, said he planned to meet with the sheriff's office and awaits the results of the investigation. But if it doesn't go well, he will call for change.
I don't think that I would feel, or anyone else in the community feel, like supporting someone that doesn't support all the people within the community.
As of Monday morning, Chief Deputy Billy Rape says the sheriff's office had taken action.
He is suspended pending termination. He has 10 working days from today through the 20th at 5 o'clock to file for an appeal hearing.
In a letter to Erhan, the office states he violated 2 sections of conduct, discrediting the department and conduct that leads to the loss of public respect and confidence. The chief deputy said Erhan had been disciplined in the past for other violations, but his firing was based solely on his latest offense. The deputy has 10 days from Monday to file an appeal. In Warner Robins, Tieesha Moore, 13 WMAZ News.
And according to Chief Deputy Rape, in 2020, Erhan was allegedly recorded on a doorbell camera using a derogatory term against a young black woman. He said they couldn't substantiate that and took no action. If Erhan does appeal his firing, a hearing will be held within 5 days.
Why?
I'm going to let you take it. What is your reaction? What are your thoughts of seeing this? Because I've seen it for the first time as well.
Why? That's not even. It wasn't even funny. Why? Oh, the good old boys. They just. Oh, that made no sense to say that. He got the. But imagine if a whole bunch of us made a joke like that on Twitter about some young white person getting deleted off this terra firma, and we were all laughing and whatever. What do you think they would have done?
I'm
I get.
speechless as far as that. I have no exact answer. I mean, we know that it will be a little different, and we also, have history of Black people being punished. Well, I talk in the realm of law enforcement. We'll have Black police officers being punished, harshly for very minor things, But we have to remember, I mean, as much as, I tell you, I love Georgia, I love living here, I'm not leaving, but there's an ugly history here. There's ugly things going on. There's ugly things that have happened in regards with law enforcement, deputized, people, the lynch mobs, stuff like that. And we have to remember, we're not in a post-racial society. These things are not isolated. It's just as a result of, those being emboldened to say something like that in a public forum, but also having video, and then people also speaking up about it, and it's getting more attention. It's out there. It's just front page now, So with this situation here, this is Georgia. Brother Ahmaud Arbery's life was taken right down, what is it?
Brunswick.
From us, you go down 75, you cross the 16 to Savannah, then you take the 19 down to Brunswick. Okay. How the news made it seem Brunswick was like, a suburb outside of Atlanta. No, it actually sits on top of Jacksonville. It's that's like a 3-hour drive from, the center of Atlanta to Brunswick. Yeah. That's like 3 hours.
Well, you know how the news characterizes Georgia. If it ain't Atlanta, it ain't Georgia.
So this incident here that occurred in Houston County, y'all know Macon has my heart. It's right down the street. You cross the street, you're from Macon, the city of Macon, but Bibb County, and then you have Houston County right there that houses what's out there? Not Fort Valley, that's Peach County, but Warner Robins. You have everything there. You have Centerville, Georgia. You have Warner Robins where it happened. What's the other areas? Like Perry, Kathleen, all that. It's right there. So this stuff is not like this little, out of the way town. No, it's right here. This is a major throughway. If you drive down 75 from Atlanta to like Tallahassee, you drive right through it. So you have you possibly could run into this officer that made this statement, So,
well, I'm sure they'll let him go off with dignity.
And you know what happens? Like, okay, you resign in lieu of termination, then you can get hired someplace else. You know what I'm saying? That's usually how they do, I would not be surprised. But then also too, we still have the issue going on in Valdosta, Georgia, with our murdered young brother, Kendrick Johnson, and his documentary is actually playing on Stars. So if you want to go and check it out, it's called Finding Kendrick down in Valdosta, Georgia, which is 2-hour drive south on 75 from Warner Robins. And I think like an hour and a half west of Brunswick. It's right here in Georgia, so yeah, that's why it was like, I took a moment before I went live because I'm like, damn, wow. Right there.
Yeah, that wasn't cool. But again, like they're always saying, they're starting to lose, so I guess they just don't care anymore. They're just
it's starting to reveal itself. Then what was the sheriff's name? Billy Rape. I'm like, wow, that's one hell of a name.
What was it?
Yeah, I think that's what it said. His name was Billy Rape, I believe.
Billy Rape?
Billy Rape, yeah, buddy. So
no, not that word. Oh, come on.
I think so. I didn't have on my.
But I thought down here these guys
on my readers, but
I thought down here you say their whole name out. They didn't give him the whole name out, like Billy Joe, whatever it was, Billy
Oh,
Cyrus.
of the officer who said it, but then also too, the news made sure to do their research, and he was also using a term towards a black woman, and he was called on the doorbell. So this has been a problem. He's been a problem for quite some time. They just sweep it under the rug, sweep it under the rug.
Yeah, that's.
You know, these are problems. These are problems, and
I think I'm
they're just
shielded because
allowed
I'm
to
up here.
continue to
Yeah.
benefit. You know, hold this power position where they could take someone's life first, and then put the victim on trial in court. You
Yeah.
know,
I think I'm shielded living up here in the big city. You don't see it as much, even though I did get called the N-word during the Braves parade by some white kids, and that was I had to look at them, and then they got scared, and I was like, ah. But they were from Cobb County, so apparently Cobb County is like racist up here, so it is what it is.
I have a video where I had went to the lake, and so I had my camera on because I was trying to get different B-roll and stuff, and there was these white teenagers there. They wasn't calling it to me, but they was calling themselves that real loud, and I'm like, you know,
yeah,
be a hard target, situational awareness, but these things are still happening. And like we said, I said teenagers, your children could be going to school with this. So moving right along to our review of In the Heat of the Night. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight. I just had to get that out to let you know how here in 2022 we're facing issues that were portrayed on screen by Mr. Poitier back in 1967. So, like I said, a summary of In the Heat of the Night, the movie. It came out in 1967, and this is per IMDb. It a summary is a murder in Dixie makes unlikely partners of an urban black detective played by Sidney Poitier and a redneck sheriff Rod Steiger, based on a book by John Ball. Music by Quincy Jones, and listening to it today, the opening theme, the In the Heat of the Night theme. I didn't know that in the original movie it was sang by Georgia's own Mr. Ray Charles. Yes,
I found that out about 4 years ago. I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And then they got the white guy to do it for the TV show, but it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay. That movie's 55 years old.
Yes. Oh my gosh, a classic. And here I am, I'm always late watching stuff, man. I'm always late.
You busy. You got the business, you got family life,
reading, on the road, all that stuff. So yes.
Talk about on the road.
Yeah.
Talk about on the road. We might have to start a GoFundMe and get you a camper.
Oh my gosh. You know what?
I think your ultimate video should be you at Mount Rushmore just cussing out all four of them.
Nah, I really don't want to go out yonder. I want to stay around here, but we should link up and get a group of us together to go camping this year. That's on my bucket list. So let's definitely talk offline about that.
We will. But yes, back to the movie.
Yes, I was so intrigued by this movie, and it just captured my heart. I started watching a second time because it was just that damn good. And I put it this way: if you're a black person in law enforcement, i.e., local law enforcement, federal law enforcement, military, corrections, a security guard, you need to watch this movie. You need to watch this film because I'm sure you can relate. And this is a great role because it was groundbreaking. And there was an interview on a channel called Real Black, REEL Black.
Yeah, I know that channel
on YouTube. You saw that also clip as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about it.
Oh man. Well, wait, which one are you talking about?
I watched the one today where they were talking about how groundbreaking Mr. Poitier's role was in this film.
Oh yeah, because you're talking about in this late 60s now. Now, mind you, he just came off of what do you call it? Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. So he got the Oscar for that. But then for him to come behind it for it, I forget which one he did first, but to have a black cop in the late 60s from up north, because we know how the South is with people up north, but to come down to Mississippi, of all states, Mississippi, to foil a crime that the local sheriff, who was white, and his force couldn't do, and that tension that they had that entire movie until the end, well, like the last third of the movie, and then you just leave the movie theater like, wow. And they didn't even take a shot at this man. Well, I know they took a shot at him like at the beginning, but you just like, wow. And in the middle of the civil rights era, you put this movie out in Mississippi. In Mississippi.
It is absolutely great because my ancestors came from the South to up what they call North. I call it the Midwest, Ohio, and I always noticed that it was a fire in them. You know, whenever they were presented with somebody who was prejudiced or racist out to their face, they didn't turn the other cheek or put their praying hands together. They turned them praying hands into some fists and dealt with it. And it was in the beginning of the movie. We're gonna give some spoilers, but as in the beginning, there is a murder that takes place, a homicide of a white man.
Which was rare for that town.
And as soon as that happened, I instantly thought, back in that time, oh goodness, they about to go down into the black neighborhood and round up some black people. They didn't round up some black people, they rounded up a black man who ended up being,
you know who that was.
Ended up being Virgil Tibbs. And that part, it was so incredible to me because his demeanor, his poise, everything about it, he did exactly what our elder Neely Fuller stated: don't fuss, don't fight, don't flee. He presented himself exactly how you should act when you're behind enemy lines in certain situations to ensure that you survive the encounter. Okay, I'm not saying that's blanket for everything, but for him to survive that encounter. Make sure you pick up these books at producejustice.com. Brother Kid Gravity, can you talk to us about that scene and what that exchange as we found out who he was and what he was doing in that area?
Well, if I remember, I think he said he was visiting family or something. He was visiting family, and of course, like you said, he had to get scooped up because he quote unquote fit the description, or like what they said. And I got a little flashback, and I was like, so this line's been used forever, I guess. Even in the 60s, they're like, hey, come here. You look like you did it. Yeah. Oh,
yep.
How many times did they say boy in that movie though?
It was used a lot, and it was used in so many different ways. Like boy was used towards Virgil Tibbs, to disgrace him and to belittle him. Then it was used towards the would-be lynch mob that came after him as you boys go home. You know what I'm saying? It was used in different ways depending on who it was directed at. And I think that was a good thing. I mean, not a good thing, but like an interesting thing to see how words, can mean different things to different people. But when you use boy to a black man, it's about the same as using the N-word. And one thing that I noticed too, with law enforcement encounters today is that black men, when you hear it on video, they're often referred to as bro and or Haas. I hate when black men are called Haas or bro by non-black men. It's like, what the hell? This is Mr., this is sir. And the famous line, they call me Mr. Tibbs.
Oh, that's the line.
That's the line. They call me Mr. Tibbs. I'm not called N-word. I'm not called boy, because Chief Gillespie tried to make,
he tried to pull him. He tried to pull it
out of his name when Sidney Poitier or Virgil Tibbs' presence, his back was straight, his suit was tailored. He only said what was necessary. He didn't engage in small talk or splaining. He said exactly what needed to be said, proper, pronunciation. They're like, what kind of name is Virgil, or what do they call you up there? They call me Mr.
Tibbs.
Exactly.
Oh, remember, I don't know if I'm getting ahead, but remember when they had that conversation about his salary?
Yes. Can you explain that? That was so important as
Yeah,
well.
they were just talking, and then he asked, "How much does a city detective like you up there make?" What did he say? He said like $200 a week or something.
Yeah, he made $163.39 a week.
Yeah, and you see that dude's face. He was like, "That much?" Like,
a
yeah,
black man detective making more
head
in a
detective
week
might as well.
than
He's
the
number one
chief
detective.
of Sparta, Mississippi makes
Yeah.
in a month.
Well,
you
right,
know?
and he was the head detective. You always got to remember that
The
he was
number
one detective in
Yeah.
that precinct, and he just looked shocked. He's like, "How did this Negro make all this money?" And you know Gillespie, if you watch the TV show, he's always got to fight for his job or fight for a raise. So you could just imagine what he was probably making. He's probably making enough to keep his candles lit in his shack.
Oh my gosh. And you brought up something else that I was thinking of. Now, one thing that was common with the officers that I worked with, they would go out like after we graduated the academy, we received our law enforcement credentials and shield. They would immediately purchase a wallet so that when they open up their wallet, like I say, they were pulled over or something, they opened up their wallet. They wouldn't actually try to badge their way out of it, but they would open up their wallet to get their driver's license. And I noticed that Virgil Tibbs did not do that. He had two separate wallets. He had his regular wallet with his cash and his ID and stuff, but then he also had his law enforcement badge separate, so that when he was questioned, well, what are you doing around here, and can you verify that? And when they asked his occupation, he let them violate all types of civil rights on him. They violated his constitutional rights. I'm sorry, all rights. Then he finally said, "I'm a police officer." Pulled out his badge, and you can call and verify. Put it right there.
Oh, I got something for you in the back chat.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, in the back chat, I put a link, the second one.
Okay.
I want you to look at that real fast.
Got it.
You could just see the power in that.
Okay. Do you want me to share screens with it?
Sure.
Okay, hang on one second. I love that. Okay, it's gonna come up in just a second.
I need that.
We need that.
I want to trade. I want to trade that man. There's got to be somebody that need to go off this plane that we could bring Sidney Poitier back. That man didn't instill enough.
Yes.
He didn't leave enough. Look at the power in that poster.
Yes.
He has that. What did you just say? Look to me.
And when you see that, his the character that Mr. Poitier portrayed, he wasn't cooning, he wasn't butt dancing, he wasn't stepping fetching it. Nothing. He didn't even crack a smile until the end, the very end of the film. But he wasn't on some yes a boss, and speaking.
I'll do anything you say, master.
Right, we'll get to that in a second, but I think I want to leave this image up. So thank you so much for sending it to me. I'm gonna leave it up out of respect for this great man that we are discussing tonight. It's gonna stay right there. Let's see.
It would be nice if YouTube didn't copyright stuff again.
Yeah,
because I'd love to play that theme song.
Oh my gosh, we will definitely link it, and we can watch that later.
Yeah. Oh, I got this. They said it's on Apple, so I know y'all don't like Apple like that. Yeah, it's on Apple TV, but I was trying to find it on YouTube because
no problem. We're gonna definitely do that. And so we just talked about his professionalism, how he displayed, just extreme or the highest level of professionalism, coming from that. He's from that area. Later in the series where Virgil Tibbs was played by Howard Rollins, he was actually from Sparta, but this one he was passing through, I believe, but he was from somewhere
from Philly.
Somewhere close. And what was it? But one thing that I experienced in law enforcement, especially when, I came from Virginia and then I went up to the Pacific Northwest, Bremerton, Washington. It's like, how did this Black person come up here and know more than us and want to show off? Because we're usually expected to dumb down to make others feel comfortable in the room. And speaking from personal experience, that's one thing that I was faced with. You know, they expect me to show up not knowing how to shoot, where I'm barely passing firearms qualifications, or you know, hey, at that time I was a military spouse. They're like, oh well, just a spouse getting a job. I'm like, please, new to this, true to this, you can Google me. And I was great at it. I was great at it. And I faced so much backlash because I had a greater, my experience was not that okay, I was security forces in the military and now I have this job. It's like, no, I did this in patrol with the best of them, you know. So that's one thing that was shown in his film when Virgil Tibbs was examining the body. He had forensics knowledge, science, chemistry, and he actually made the coroner look bad. The coroner just guesstimated the time of death, but Tibbs was able to, you know, examine the body and within a matter of minutes determine the time, the cause, even after that, that they had the wrong suspect in custody, you know? So yeah, that's one thing that you know was really, he was just a law enforcement professional. He had people skills when he delivered the death notification to the widow. He also knew what to do when it came to chain of custody. Shout out to the writers of the script. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying the writers and how they did extensive research because it shows. But keep in mind, this is still a movie. So, you know, you don't do what you see on TV. That's why Cops was taken off. And even though that was real life, it was bad.
Yeah, somebody asked in your comment section, wasn't he the first black man to slap a white man on the big screen?
You know what? We gonna jump right to that. Because I was gonna get to Virgil Tibbs was jailed because I'm white and I say so. He was just you know, falsely arrested. The roles changed over time. We saw him go from criminal to, oh, we need you, you're like one of us, but you're not one of us. And he was you know, put back again
What
as
did
a
you
criminal.
think of Virgil's boss and then told him you better stay down there and help him out?
Now that's really interesting because we never saw who the boss was. We never heard his voice.
Until the sequel.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, you saw him in the sequel. They call me Mr. Tibbs.
Oh, I didn't see that. I just saw it in Heat of the Night today. I didn't see that.
Yeah, that came out, I think, in the 70s. Yeah, they call me Mr. Tibbs. Yeah.
Oh, shucky. We got another movie to watch, y'all.
There you go.
My initial thought on that, I'm like, well, he's not getting paid, you know. So to me, it was like loaning out your worker, borrowing a worker. So I was like, he's not getting paid or compensated. So, you know, yeah,
It gave me a little bit of plantation vibe, but
yeah, that's what I got as well. And we also know in the South, you know, that the history of convict leasing and stuff like that. So that was my initial reaction. Let me know if I'm right or wrong or reaching or what.
I don't think you were reaching.
Okay.
Nah, that ain't no reach.
Okay. So yes, we shall see. I shall see. And what was it? Talked about that. Then later the widow, you know, goes to the mayor, and she actually saw that the Sparta Police Department was trash. You know, it's good old boys, cowboy policing. They don't know anything but riding around, F-wording with people, and they did not know how to, you know, properly investigate a crime.
Right.
So she ended up going to the mayor, you know, and because her husband, you know, was
he was Daddy Warbucks.
Yeah, he was bringing an engineering company to Sparta, which would have resulted in revenue and stuff like that. So she's like, look, y'all work for me, okay? And I want Tibbs here. And that's what resulted in Tibbs and part of him staying, but I won't let you know what the exchange was that ultimately made him stay to help. We're going to get to the good part. Endicott's plantation. Endicott's plantation. So if you want to take that part and let everyone know like the visuals and what
All right.
you
Lord.
experienced when you watched it.
Well, first off, when you get there and you get to that scene, you see this big old sprawling field. It was so nice. Grass was immaculate. It was a sunny day. Big old white gate or black gate.
Candyland.
Yeah, Candyland basically. And they drive in and they go up to the big old plantation mansion.
I'm gonna have to show that real quick.
And who answered the damn door? Show them who answered the damn door.
Keep on going. I'm gonna switch over to YouTube real quick and pull that up.
I know the writers, they were great, but they has like, you know what, we gotta have some stereotypes in here a little bit more. We can't just have the widow answer the door. We have to have the lifelong Black employee that we acknowledge at Christmas time. This man looked like he was 85 with his nice crisp white jacket on, talking about, how you doing, sir? How you doing, sheriff? And then he looking at Tibbs like, who is this Negro? And it gave me vibes. I was like, damn. What y'all were never gonna get this up. It was the 60s and you're never gonna get this up. But you know.
Hang on. Once I gotta see that y'all are seeing my screen. Hold on, let me switch screens.
I was just waiting for him to say, hey, good evening, Sheriff Gillespie. Yeah, we's good up in here. We still moaning.
All right, there we go. Make it a large screen.
Look at this man.
Okay, all right. Getting up to Endicott's plantation.
Mm-hmm.
In the car is Chief Gillespie and he's driving and Virgil Tibbs is in the passenger seat.
Right.
And why that scene was so powerful to me was because here we go. It shows you a cotton field and you have Black people
working.
You have children out there as well. And you can assume that they're not making $163 a week. And they're out there doing back-breaking labor, just in the South, just busy work to, keep them coming back, to keep them giving this back-breaking, labor for pennies on a dollar. But I think how the filmmakers showed that, how they stopped picking cotton and they looked over and see a Black man in a police car, not driving a white man, not in the back of a police car, not being taken back to the plantation.
Yeah. Almost like a contemporary.
He's being driven by the chief. Mm-hmm. And I think with that right there, that was a powerful moment so that, it shows how police officers or those, like in the military or doctors, those who come back for career day and show the community, the different possibilities, that is available to them. But when they pulled up to the front yard, the I won't say the decorations, but the lawn jockey, that was up there, and actually Gillespie patted on the head. You actually still see lawn jockeys today. When I was driving back from Virginia, I saw one in Suffolk, Virginia, and they're still lawn jockeys out here. And shout out to my law enforcement friends, who watch. They don't comment, but I know y'all watching. Y'all reach out to me at times. It was a picture that was sent to me by a brother. He had to go and serve a warrant or something, and he went to a white person's home here in the central Georgia area, and right at the front door they had a picture of nigger babies, and it had the R on it, nigger babies. They had a picture of them. I actually have the picture in my phone to prove it. These things still exist. And then also on, I think it was like Craigslist, someone was selling the Americana church fans. So Someone had found them, or they were in possession of it and they wanted to sell it. But these are different things that that I won't say we, because I don't do it no more, but we have encountered, on duty. You see these things, but it's up to us. We have to be that professional all the time, even though it's constant jabs at us, and that's constant jabs that we face on the job at all times. But this part, the exchange between Virgil, Tibbs, and Endicott, I want to take y'all to one of my favorites. And y'all know, like, I'm a bookworm. Virgil's exchange, the way the script was written, Virgil was shown to, I won't say change his personality, but adapt to situations. So where he said less than needed, again, although he was a bit talkative and engaging, he was still saying exactly what he needed because he had a constructive outcome in mind. And I won't spoil that for you, but it automatically took me to the 48 Laws of Power. Like, there was so many check boxes, in Virgil's performance, his character, and I'm like, wow, that's exactly, I'm just, that's how we have to be. We have to know a little bit about everything, so that we can perform in any situation that we're put into. But hang on one second, Elliot. Yeah. Right here, 40 Laws of Power. And then the exchange, y'all pay attention to Endicott and Virgil, how Endicott was comparing the orchid flowers to, he said the word, I think he said it to niggas.
Yes.
He said it. So yeah, I won't spoil that for you, but you'll hear that exchange, and that is common to hear that. This takes us to this scene right here. And this is known as the slap heard around the world. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to play it and y'all can see it or hear it and experience this. So I'm going to take us back 1 second. And there we go. I present to y'all.
Ever in this greenhouse, say slap. Last night about midnight.
Gillespie, what are you going to do about this? I don't know.
Right. Shout out to a channel, Double Toasted. I was not expecting them to show this, but they had me cracking up. Look at this face. That is of power. He did not turn the other cheek. He gave the other hand. He didn't cry or expect anybody else to come and save him. He saved himself.
But did you see his slap? Did you see Endicott slap? Didn't even move this man.
Right. It just
that man stayed in his circle. You know what is even better? I remember this too last year. I looked at it and I did it in slow motion.
Yes, I'm doing it right now.
I just want to make sure it's even funnier when you do it at 25%. It's even. He said, "Wait, what?" look at Steven in the back.
Look at Steven.
He's like, "Yes, sir."
Yes, look at him. You dare hit Massa.
You hit Massa hit you. You was a bad boy.
It's
and look at Gillespie. Gillespie is like, you shouldn't have said that.
But look at what happened when he gets slapped back.
Gillespie was like, oh, look at Steven. He's like, oh no, I done lost another one. Oh no.
Lord have mercy.
Oh, they gonna hang you up outside, boy. What you doing now here?
Who that down that neck?
Oh no. My man was about to drop the lemonade. He about to go over there and go rub his cheek real fast.
I'm about to start crying. Yes, but then y'all just have to go watch it. I played it back about 15 times. When Tibbs was done, Tibbs didn't apologize, and
of course he ain't gonna apologize.
That's the thing. Okay, one thing I noticed is that Karens and stuff like that, they will start something. And then when you give it back, like, oh, I take it as, when I see these situations, like, okay, you were the primary aggressor, and then you gave an invitation to mutual combat, but then you want to go and holler for somebody to call the law. You started it.
Yeah, they always want to call law when the situation is not in their control anymore.
No, but let me get right here to this one part when they were leaving. And watch Steven.
He's like, I'm scared of you.
Virgil was thug, like he been hit him with the door.
He said, move. But you gotta remember too, at the beginning, he was kind of shading Virgil.
Yes, Virgil hit him with the door, and then watch his face. He just like, you gonna let him get away with that? Look, he just gonna look at him like, what we gonna do about this, boss?
He's like, boss, you can't.
What?
He's like, boss, you're supposed to. You're supposed to go back on him. You're supposed to go back on him, boss. But that was the scene. That's another powerful look right there, because now you know he done lost respect for him.
Yes, and you know that's gonna spread like wildfire. You know,
through the town.
Yeah, everybody like, look, this black man just came up here and showed y'all. Y'all ain't gotta take this BS. You know, he ain't gonna do nothing about it. And there you go. Because he was like, I was a point in time I could have had you shot. Like,
do you think
whatever?
Do you think this scene influenced the TV show? Because you know how in the TV show the black Sparta are very defiant.
Oh yeah, in the bottoms.
Yeah, in the bottoms, they're always defiant when the cops roll through.
Oh yeah.
You think Endicott was the main reason for that? And that might be a stretch.
You know, it's very interesting to ponder on that, because it could have shown like, hey, what's the worst you can do to me? You know what I'm saying? It's we have the numbers. You know, what are you really gonna do? But leave us alone. And so that makes me think of the Stanford prison experiment. That's a really good one to, you know, analyze and compare to the situation. So as long as, you know, the few try to maintain and are willing to do whatever to maintain authority and control and influence and fear over the many, they'll always stay in control. That's how when you look at a prison, there's more prisoners than guards. But the guards have to assert this authority so that they can, you know, rest assured that they have control over the masses.
Yeah.
So that's powerful to ponder on. And I think I lost your thumbnail. I'm gonna try to get that back.
That's fine. They said that this movie was filmed in Illinois.
It could have been.
I'm reading the wiki right now. It says it was filmed in Sparta, Illinois, where many of the film's landmarks can still be seen.
Oh wow, that would be a good idea. Well, yeah, it'd be I won't say a good idea to ride up there, because I have read the book Sundown Towns, and there were a lot of sundown towns in Illinois.
Not southern
Illinois. Yeah.
Nah, southern Illinois. Nah.
Right. I drove across there to get to St. Louis, but I'm like, yeah, there's a lot up there. So that's just the part right there. That just wound me up like, look, I gotta do a video on this, because that slap right there not only changed the way for American history and television and the future in television for Black actors and actresses. From what I've seen online and heard in interviews, is that was the kickoff for Blaxploitation films. Like, look, we ain't taking this from, and there was some terms used in the movie, and we're using it here, you know, as reference from like Whitey. We're not taking this from Whitey. And so I want to also talk about another film later on this year and honor the work of Mr. Melvin Van Peebles. He has a documentary here on YouTube called Classified X. Y'all have got to watch this, because if you saw that, you will see how American history developed from before 1967 and why this role was so pivotal, and also the work of Sidney Poitier throughout his career. It was groundbreaking. But yes, so then also one thing I noticed, and this was something that they carried over into the TV show. Virgil Tibbs never wore a badge. He wore a suit. He never wore a uniform. He carried a gun, never really carried a badge, and never had a police car. However, we do know that in the series, Sparta did have Black police officers.
Right. Yeah, they had.
That's played by Jeffrey Thorne. You also had Crystal Fox as Corbin, and then the first Black Sparta police officer was, her name was Chris, but she was killed like her first day on the job.
Yep. Yeah, she got killed by that crazy white boy with the automatic.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. No, that broke my heart when I saw that episode when I was a little girl. What do you think about that? How, Virgil, he was never, I mean, I think when they were describing his job duties as a detective, but he was never addressed as, well, yes, he was addressed as Detective Tibbs by some. But in this film, he wasn't addressed by any of that. What are your thoughts on that?
I think with the series, if it does follow the movie, I guess, I think that he was on that level with Gillespie. So people just knew who he was. So, when they see Gillespie, like, hey, Chief Gillespie, how are you? When they see Virgil, they'll either say, how you doing, Virgil? Like, they're on, like, first name basis. Even white people were like, hey, Virgil, how are you? And I was like, so he already, from the first season, he already had respect. He didn't have to earn it. He didn't have to come in there. And because even remember in the pilot, he showed up the first day and he was already respected. So I was like, wow, that's, you kind of think it was a plot hole, but then if you watch the movie, then you're like, okay, if they're connected, then it makes sense.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was interesting because, he did not wear a badge or a uniform. And that's one thing that we face. I'm quick to check someone when they start getting a little too comfortable and address me as Tieesha. I'm like, oh, no, it's Miss Essex. Okay, you address me. Even what I experienced in Bremerton, they wouldn't even address me as Officer Essex. It was Miss Essex all the time. Miss Essex. They tried that Tieesha stuff one time, or because I'll always address them as their title and last name. I'm like, we ain't friends. When I get off work, I'm going home. I ain't going to go cool with you. So they're like, oh no, call me this, call me that. No, I'm gonna call you this. We're not friends. But have you ever experienced that where, professionally people get a little too comfortable with you, and do you take that as a sign of disrespect?
Yeah, well, it happens at work all the time, especially when you move up in position. They just don't respect you anymore.
Wow.
They think you think they're still one of the people. So when you try to say, okay, can you do this? They're like, okay, and they'll fuss about. Excuse me. They'll fuss about, or they'll take their time doing it because they have that familiarity with you. And then when you get loud or you get the emphasis, then they look at you crazy.
Right. Wow.
I mean, it always happens. Your best bet is to come in with the power on the first day. Wow. That's your best bet because you got to
establish that standard from the get-go. Wow. So, question: as a Black man, what advice would you have to, young Black men who are entering the workforce, or those who may, have watched this and they have been impacted positively and encouraged and motivated by Mr. Poitier's performance? What are some words of wisdom for them for, displaying themselves as a professional, as, a Black man, as someone who's confident, who's powerful, and demands respect?
Oh, we're going to get controversial. I don't know how controversial you want me to get.
Oh, do your thing, player. Do your thing, because you over here, you got to encourage those who are watching to go subscribe to you. So do your thing. I'm giving you the screen.
Black men and young Black boys, listen. This is Kid Gravity. I'm going to give you some words of advice. Number one, they don't like us. I need you to understand this. I'm going to say it again. They don't like us. There's articles out right now. They're saying that the economy is bad because us as Black men, we're not in the workforce. They don't like us. And by not liking us, they're going to belittle all of our accomplishments, and they're going to belittle any strides we make. So my first piece of advice for you is go in there with a mindset that you're there to work and you're there to make a difference. I know you might say, hey, it's, white companies, whatever. Understand, they view us as expendable assets, or in our case, expendable liabilities. We as Black men have to understand that we have the power because they need us. We don't need them because we can always leave. But when we come in the door, we have to show them that I can outwork anybody you put me up against. You do that, you'll have no problems. And for those who have watched this movie, I like Tieesha and I have said, we encourage you to watch it, not just because of the slap, because the slap is great. We could watch the slap all day. But peep game to what you see going throughout the movie and how a Black man should carry themselves in hostile territory. That's the main thing you need to get out of this movie. Because if they see you living in your power and you don't falter because the situation might change, you're going to command respect. They'll still hate you, but they'll respect you. And for a lot of us, that's all we can hope for in this world, because they fear what we are and what we can become. So I would say that as parting words. Live in your power and understand they need you. You don't necessarily need them. And outworking everybody may seem like a task, but hey, you got to do it in this world just so they know if you do. And when you do move on, they just say, damn, I wish I had somebody like him. So I need the brothers to get off their ass and go. You're muted, by the way. I need the brothers to get off their ass and let's prove in 2022 that we are the asset, not no more being liabilities. Please. I love y'all. Take care. Stay safe.
You can actually cut all that out and just upload that as a motivational speech for someone to listen to every day when you're in the dump, you lost focus. Play that, and I'm pretty sure that will get you going. That was amazing. So thank you. And like we said, what Virgil had to be was the best, not ask for help, hold his own, and just display greatness and know who he was, not his place, but knew who he was and what he brought to the table in his work. And I think that's what the movie wanted to show us at the end as well, because if it was not for him, the wrong person was accused of the crime, evidence would have been mishandled, just a whole bunch of BS going on in this small town of Sparta.
Sparta. And shout out to the series for
yes,
still displaying Sparta, even though in some of the episodes they still had the Georgia sign in the background, but we're not going to talk about that.
Although I couldn't find it in me to put on the shirt, it's not the show, it's not the movie, because this movie, the actors, the writers, everyone did a great job at bringing, what was going on in life to the big screen. No disrespect. I have nothing against it. It was beautiful. And how an actor acted their ass off is if you like, man, I'm really mad, or dang, I'm really moved. That's how they put 100%, 110% into that role, because here it is, like you said, 55 years later, and we're still talking about it as if it came out today, One quick thing is that I want to leave y'all with some references, okay? I think I mentioned these on some videos last year. I have to add one more book to my Black law enforcement collection, but first off, I have Black and Blue, the creation of a social advocate by retired LAPD Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey. She's here on YouTube. You can also see her commentary on CNN and various other platforms when it comes to incidents with the police and Black people or the community. Definitely check out her book. It was a great read. Okay. Also, I have this book here. This is called Slave Patrols. This is by Sally E. Haddon. Okay, I basically use this one as a reference. I did not read it cover to cover. You see, I have some dog-eared pages, but this is something like if you're a Black law enforcement professional, when you're in the academy, they'll tell you about the patrols in Britain, and then they'll jump many years later and start talking about, oh, okay, they may say something about the first Black police officer, or the walking patrols where, you know, they didn't have radios, they had to go to the call box when they were walking the beat, and then all of a sudden, here we go, modern policing. But no, they skip out on the slave patrols. So I want you to take it upon yourself to educate yourself on the history of this profession that you chose to get into. And a lot of things start to click and make sense, but you can gear yourself to be a better asset to, you know, our community, but also to yourself. Okay. Another one here. This was a textbook. This is Police in America. There's different references in there, but this is, you know, what you would not get in that basic police academy. Pretty much when you're there to be trained up enough to do that job for that department. You need to make yourself a law enforcement professional. It's up to you. Soak in what you can. Then once you see that you've done all you can at that position, you keep climbing and seeking other opportunities. Okay. Then this one here, this is not by an African-American officer, but this is by Stephen L. It's called Toxic Boss. I'm going to try to pick up that as well. This was also a good read. Another book that I'm going to add to my collection, we actually have a brother. His name is Brian S. Bentley. And shout out to the Big Girls Panties podcast with our great friend, Sister Mona Lachey. She actually interviewed him, and he actually wrote a book. And I want to add that to my collection. I'll probably get it, and then it's gonna have to sit for a little while. I'm gonna actually bring up a 2022 book list like I did last year.
Yeah.
I didn't do the book club because I'm like, no, let's just read it, and I'm just all over the place, so I'm not on the schedule. But I'll give you my book list and let you know what I finished. One of the books I mentioned last year, I think somebody told me about it, but I'm almost done with the American Directory of Certified Uncle Toms.
Oh Lord.
Yes, we have to actually talk about this term of Uncle Tom, because that's one thing that I was called at times. You know, when I show up in uniform, or I tell you, hey, I'm a police officer. Oh, you Uncle Tom, you Uncle Tom. I would actually break that term down and actually talk about that. But that would be.
They never called you Uncle Tom, Aunt Thomasina?
Say that one more time.
They never called you Aunt Thomasina?
No, I'm just a Tom ass or Uncle Tom.
What? Actually, I do have a book for you too.
What's that? Or
it's called The Negro and the Gun. Hold on, let me see if I can go get it. Give me 1 second.
All right. So while he is doing that, I just want to say thank you to Brother Black Voltron Reloaded. I appreciate everything you do. I greatly appreciate you being one of the great moderators. You keep me focused so that I don't have to worry about the trolls. You bring things to my attention, so I really appreciate you. J Shine Randoms, I really appreciate you. Thank you for all of your encouraging words. And thank you to everybody who's been here tonight. We have DeAndre Mosley. Thank you so much for stopping by. I know I saw Wild Williams 454. You posed a question. The guards got guns. Actually, no. And when you're in the jail, you actually are unarmed. You just have maybe your pepper spray on your belt and some handcuffs. But they actually have to call in the tactical team to come in with the airsoft or tasers. But in jails, they actually don't. But thank you for bringing that up to our attention. You said Tibbs combed his hair way back. You must be talking about Harold Rollins. It depends on the season of Any Heat of the Night, but he went from a Jerry curl to an afro to a bebop Temptations Motown perm process.
He looked like he got the Biden thing going. What he was doing.
Oh my gosh, that brother changed his hair up, and so it was filmed down here in Covington, Georgia, hot ass Georgia. Man, you would see that his forehead and face be glistening, and his shirt be all wet, but that Jerry curl was shining. Rest in power to his memory. Great actor.
Yeah. So I can't find the book. I don't know what I did with it, but I put it in your private chat. That's a good book. But yeah, speaking of books, because I still got to do 2 review videos on this, but this is the 3rd one. I got to start reading. I never have time to read, so this one actually interests me a lot.
Negroes in the gun. I might have to add that to the list. Make sure none of my business showing on this Amazon page real quick.
Don't put that out there. Somebody screw around, start buying up a whole bunch of stuff on your account.
I was still signed in. Let me go ahead and get up out of there real quick. Let me go ahead and get this link. 1 second.
Yeah, but that I started reading that book, and it's interesting because it just goes back into the history of Black people with guns. I think they started in like the 1700s or something.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they went back. So,
I'm gonna have to pick that up because I actually have the book Negroes with Guns. That's what I thought you was referring to. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check this out.
I think it was that one, or I don't remember. I bought it at Nubian bookstore, so I know it said Negroes and Guns.
We have to plan something. We got to go up there and support our brother. I'm gonna take
I plan to go back.
There.
I gotta go back.
Shout out to Brother Marcus at Nubian Bookstores in Morrow, Georgia. If y'all in the area, let me know. I'll ride up and see y'all. And
I gotta go back up there because there was a Malcolm book that I wanted to buy. And apparently my little girl loves the coloring books there, so I'm gonna have to get her a couple.
Yes, he's also an author as well. Author as well. So make sure y'all check out his books. That is a great brother. I'm end up spending a whole bunch of money. I'm trying to be on these no spend days in 2022. I think
hey, if it's black aid.
That will end when I go up there. I'm dropping. It's like
we dropped about $100. We dropped $100 up there.
But you feel so damn good when you do it. You feel so goddamn good when you do it.
Yeah, I bought 3 Shahrazad books up there, so I was happy.
Oh my gosh, I can say that I have her complete collection, except for the one that's not in print. You can't find. It's How to Tell If Your Dude Is on the Download. I can't find that one, but y'all go and support her.
What's it called?
It's called Ways to Tell If your Dude Is on the Download.
They said
that's a book that we don't hear of, but that is one of her books. She's actually when you see her books shipping out of I think Cincinnati on eBay, that's her store. You're buying the books from her on eBay, okay?
Oh, How to Tell If Your Man Is Gay or Bisexual?
Yes, that's it.
Oh, so, Amazon don't have it. They said limited. They said delivered in Mexico. Anyway, it says limited availability. So
yes, holla at some of the our brothers and sisters here on YouTube who get in touch with her to interview her. Like, hey, can you get in touch with Sister Ali and ask how can I get a copy of this book?
I would love to interview her. I got to figure out how I'm going to do that.
Oh my gosh, I'm so intimidated. I would love to do it.
You can't be listen. You got a nice smile, and you actually do poignant topic, so you're not just there for clout. You would actually have a great conversation.
And I've actually read her books. I have them here to show. Look, I have her books. I've encouraged brothers and sisters to get them. Like, look, read this work.
And y'all can bond over that Ohio chili.
I have some in the refrigerator.
I'm sure you do. I have a coworker that brought it there. I didn't get it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Text me your address. I'm gonna send you up a chili packet.
Okay.
I just made I got some right here in the refrigerator. One thing I wanted to bring up real quick too, about what it brought to the screen was vices. It showed, how certain officers get their identity through the badge. They're nothing, they're complete jack shit, they're shit bags, dirt bags in life, but once they put on the badge, I am somebody, and it showed that through Gillespie and the other officers. They were either out of shape, they had no tact, no professionalism. You have the widow who just lost her husband in the next room, and they're out there hooping and hollering, doing a whole bunch of stuff and arguing amongst themselves. They show zero professionalism. And you will see that in certain situations if you observe certain law enforcement agencies. Another thing is, like I said, the vices. Gillespie said how he had no wife, no kids. He was lonely. On his living room table, on the coffee table, he had bottles of alcohol. And one thing that was annoying as fudge, he kept chewing that damn gum so loud, just like he was a cow chewing a cud. And that's what that gets on my nerves, because I find that in officers, I use that loosely, they'll come talk to you with a mouthful of chewing tobacco, spitting all around you, just being totally dirtbags, don't brush their teeth. I'm like, are you paying into the city's dental plan?
Nah, but I had a run-in with some sheriffs up here yesterday because I had one of my cooking knives in my hand and they just started screwing with me for no reason. I think they wanted me to pop off. I think that's what it was, but you know, like you said with Virgil, you just give them enough to get your point across.
Absolutely. Family, get out there, set up those range days, okay?
Yes.
And also check out Timonics.com. Actually, I will make y'all a special discount code for those who are watching live and also in the chat, okay? I will make y'all a special code. Let's say. And I would give y'all, let's do this. Put this in the chat. Put this up. For y'all watching this video from now until the end of the month, if you use this coupon code at checkout, it's an acronym for in the heat of the night 35. I'll give you 35% off, okay, of your Timonics purchases. All right, because this is just monumental for us to protect ourselves, be hard targets. This is why I'm here. This is why I do what I do, because I take what I learned, and now I'm serving my community with it, because that's what everybody else do. And it's only right that, I come back and be an asset to my people. So those who are watching live and those in the chat, use this code, give you 35% off. All right. I love y'all so much. I think that's about it. I think we pretty much covered everything. I think
you got to play the slap before you leave again. You got to play the slap again before you leave.
Hang on, let me find it.
Oh, you got to play that slap. That's the perfect way to go out. This is how we got to be in 2022. No more.
Like no shit. Okay.
No
I want to say,
more.
because people are like, Tieesha, you shouldn't say cuss words on your YouTube. They're not gonna monetize you. I'm like, man, forget this. Because I had to say it, okay?
Man, come on. I mean, look, YouTube ain't end all be all, folks.
In the heat of the night, slap. We gotta do that again.
Slap. That's all you gotta put is slap. And that's like probably what, the second.
I just went back to I went to it on a different tab.
Oh, Hendy and Newton. It's on Prime Video, so you can watch it to your heart's content.
Here we go. Let's get there.
That man. So Endicott Biden looked like he was fixing to cry.
Oh my gosh, he do.
Was Mr. Colbert ever in this greenhouse? Say last night about midnight.
Yes, sir.
We got to just watch it out.
Gillespie. Yeah. You saw it.
I did.
I saw you slap an officer. That should have been charged as a felony. Assault on a law enforcement officer as a felony.
If he was white, yes.
Right. I'm gonna just put it. Look at that face. Look at that face.
You're like, he hit me.
He gonna cry later. He gonna cry later.
He gonna cry in the study.
He gonna cry. He gonna cry. I just want to say thank you everybody for watching. That's all we got for y'all. I just wanted to encourage you. Hopefully what you got from this film is something great. Like Elder Neely Fuller Jr. states, watch movies and find something constructive in it. He was saying, different movies like The Shawshank Redemption, Casablanca, these movies have different meanings and different, life lessons that you should take. I've taken a whole bunch from this movie. If you haven't watched it, I hope you do and get some life lessons out of it. Brother Kid Gravity, he told us exactly what he took from it. That was powerful. Oh my gosh, that's words of wisdom. He told everybody how to find you, your social media, all that good stuff. And then we're going to get up out of here.
Yeah. Okay. So everyone, thank you again for hollering at me. No, I'm just kidding. So to find me, you go to Instagram, Kid Gravity Beyond, or Beyond Borders Podcast. I do 2 podcasts. One, Beyond Borders is just for, you know, politics, social commentary, news, whatever, and life lessons here and there. But I also have another one that Tieesha, she's been fortunate to be on both. But the first one I had her on was Bet on Black with Kid Gravity. That's where I spotlight Black creatives from the arts world, business, social media, Hollywood. So you can check that out on anywhere y'all stream y'all's ratchet music. And I also am on Twitter. You know, Twitter is a cesspool at Chef Boyardee. I try not to go on there too much because that's an echo chamber and people don't expand their minds. But, you know, there's some great pro-Black pages on there. So, yeah, follow me over there. And, yeah, I don't want to take up too much time of Tieesha's program. Let's get about here. I might want to see that slap one more time.
I'm gonna have to let everybody go.
I know. We got to get it.
Like I said, this
It's
is
still
like
early evening.
My 20th time watching this. So yeah, thank you so much,
20.
everybody. I greatly appreciate you being here. I will be back with another great video. In the meantime, I will troll with y'all on social media. Just make sure you stay a hard target, keep your head on a swivel, love yourself, put yourself first, and take care of your family. And I will see y'all in the next video. Y'all have a great night. Like, subscribe, share if you want to. You don't have to, but it's great if you do. Take care of yourself. Bye.